We're ready to rock and roll.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Recording? All right. Chair Gary Delvaux. Here. Vice Chair Matt Schuler.
Here.
Alderperson Barbara Dorr.
Here.
Jim Blumreich.
Here.
Happy Dean has to be excused. Kathy Hinkfist.
Here.
Melanie Carmen has to be excused.
All right. Excellent. Motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Jim and Barb. All in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Carried. Approval of the minutes from May 7th.
So moved.
Second.
Matt. Kathy. Sorry, Cassie. All right. All in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Right. All right. We have a public hearing is the first thing on the agenda. Public hearing regarding the proposed plan of finance for the issuance by the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Green Bay, Wisconsin, of one or more series of its exempt facility variable rate demand redevelopment revenue bonds for Green Bay Packaging Inc. project. Is there anybody who would like to make a comment in regard to public hearing? Is there anybody who would like to make a comment in regard to the public hearing? One more time, is there anybody who would like to make a comment in regard to the public hearing? Hearing none, the public hearing is closed. All right, on to regular business. Consideration of possible action on final resolution regarding jail facilities variable rate demand redevelopment revenue bond financing for the Green Bay Packaging Inc. project. Want to kick it off, Kip?
Sure. In short, we approved a development agreement with Green Bay Packaging just about a year ago for a substantial project, basically to build a new paper mill in the city and do some other substantial improvements, make a serious reinvestment in our community. Since that, the developer has moved forward with construction of that project. You can see, I mean, a lot of dirt moving out there, facility construction, expansion of the box plant, full steam ahead. With that, what this today before you is in terms of financing the project. The developer has been working with the state in order to obtain some revenue bond financing, industrial revenue bond financing. It's quite a large package. But what this does was will enable them to get some financing more competitively than they can get in the private market. It's something that in the state, in terms of wanting industries to retain and expand, facilitate. We have not done IRBs in some time, just because those interest rates have been pretty close for a while between the private sector and then public offerings. But we've seen an uptick, in interest of this moving forward. And this one, every IRB needs a conduit issuer in order to provide, be able to do these bonds. I can speak, Director Ellen Beckrick is here, can speak. This does not increase any exposure for the city, does not increase any liability for the city, does not have an impact on our bonding capacity. It's simply that the state needs a conduit in order to say, basically, look, we're redeveloping in this area, there's blight elimination, there's certain redevelopment activities that are going on in terms of being able to move forward. With that, Bond Counsel Linda Templin is here. If you want her to open the floor, she can speak a little bit more on the project and answer questions specifically.
Motion by Buck, and a second by Kathy.
All right, if you want to come up, I'll put
All in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Floor is open. Yeah. Please.
All right, I'll pull this up here just so we can get it on camera. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Linda Templin. I'm a partner with Hush Blackwell, and our firm is serving as bond counsel for this conduit financing. I often go to municipalities and present at these meetings and explain that the use of an IRB, being the conduit issuer, is one of the most powerful tools a community can have in their development toolbox, because you confer a very significant benefit to a borrower at absolutely no cost to the city or the RDA. And yet they realize a much lower interest rate, and as a result of that, they save money, they create jobs in the community, they contribute to the tax base. You probably won't see a lot of deals in Wisconsin that are as large as this one. The final resolution says it's an amount not to exceed 160 million. We are refining that number. It will be less than 160 million. More likely it will be just south of 150 million, but we don't have all the cost of issuance and things pulled together yet, so we're refining that number. The company is being strategic in which assets are being financed with the bonds for tax reasons. So even though you're aware the project is much larger than 150 or 160 million, it's more like 500 or 600 million. This will be one of the last procedural steps. The next step is the council will act on a resolution. We need the council to act because we need the highest elected officials to approve the TEFRA and say that the TEFRA hearing, the public hearing you held today, had been held. So we will be coming to the council. I believe the meeting is on the 18th, and we then will hopefully have a certification of volume cap from the WEDC, and we expect to close the bonds very early in July. Today I delivered to Kevin all of the signature pages that the issuer is a signatory to, and you can sign those at your leisure and return them in the envelope that's there. So having said that, are there any questions about the bond or the process?
In general, what's the rate? Just so we have a feel for what it would be otherwise.
Generally, in today's market, the borrower will realize about a full percentage point lower in their interest rate. Okay. And on a deal this size, that's a lot of money.
Yes, it is. That's it. Well, we're obviously very excited about the project, and anything we can do to help that project, we're very much in favor of. Any questions?
And what would the term be, the length of the...
I think it has 30-year term on it. Under the statute, it could go as long as 40 years, but it isn't set up that way.
So Kevin, after hopefully the council would approve this, we would end up with the Wisconsin Economic Development Corp for the final numbers approval?
Yeah, I guess you can talk, and they're the ones who basically have the pot of money to allocate those funds, and they'll go through, and they're working with a private financier who will then go out and issue the bonds.
Yeah, the bonds are all being sold to sophisticated accredited investors, very small group. So they will buy them on the strength of the Wells Fargo letter of credit.
Gotcha.
And should there be a default, and we never want to say that, and there won't be a default, you might not even be aware of it. Because what happens is the bank that issues the letter of credit realizes on their collateral and the borrower's promise. So it's no different than you go and you have a mortgage on your house. If you default, the bank's going to try to sell the asset.
Right.
So there's no way that it comes back. You will note also in the documents that there is a broad indemnification for the RDA and for the city. And one might ask, well, if I don't have any liability and an exposure, why would you have to indemnify? The answer to that is sometimes as simple as there are a lot of lawyers in the world. I'm one of them. And let's say something happened on the site or whatever. A lawyer looks to name everybody they can think of that's connected with it, and it might cost you some money to get dismissed out of it. That's the borrower's responsibility to pay that. That's why that indemnification is there, to protect you.
Good. Any other questions of Brenda? If not, any other questions from the audience? Okay.
Motion return to regular order.
Okay, and motion by Alder Dorf, return to regular order. Second by Jim. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Give her back to regular order of business. Any questions of Kevin or the staff in regard to this resolution? I'm looking for a motion.
I'll move to approve the final resolution regarding exempt facility variable rate demand redevelopment revenue bond financing. That is the longest title.
Yes, it is. I agree.
For the Green Bay Packaging Inc. project.
I'm just going to go with the seconding.
Took the easy road.
A motion made by Jim, second by Matt. Any other questions or comments? If not, we shall vote.
Passed unanimously.
Very good, thank you. Thank you, Lynette. All right. Number 2, consideration of possible action on development agreement 19-02 with the Legacy Green Bay LLC, the Legacy Hotel at 1004 Red Bar Pass, tax parcel 1-2041-C-2. Jim?
Yes. So this is looking at the Legacy Hotel. You may have heard about this project, seen it in the news, went through Planning Commission last month in order to get its conditional use permit, in order to get the use and a height restriction or overcome that in that area. But what we're here today is to discuss a development agreement in order to get the project completed. We have a developer, and the development team is here if you'd like to ask questions of them. In short, they'd like to build a five-story boutique hotel, about 90,000 square feet, along with all the other improvements. I can let the developer explain. I think their goal is to provide best-in-class service, a new product on the market that really differentiates itself from other things that we don't have, which we really feel is important in the city.
Yes.
And really, from a physical planning perspective, start to open up the Legends District to future development. If you look at the preliminary concept plan, it involves demolishing the existing Brett Favre Steakhouse, which if you stand on Holmgren and look down Brett Favre Pass, that's what you see right now, and it kind of blocks everything else. So by taking that down and pushing the hotel to the north of the site, you're going to open up that view shed and really hopefully lead to some additional development opportunities in that area. What we've looked at in terms of alignment with our vision, what we want to see in the community, building new structures really with great design, the per taxable acre property values, really generating some new job opportunities, being built with options for conversion to other things in the future, right, as things change, and really following in line with a lot of the work that we did in the Legends District planning process. Really committing to, if you looked at some of the design, seeing this is what we want to see in the Legends District as it redevelops. And so we really feel this is a great piece in terms of moving that forward. Just some quick discussion on the numbers. Right now, the property is assessed just over $1.8 million. We estimate the property to be about $12 million when all completed. I think we're going in with a conservative estimate. If you look at some other properties, we're in Northland Lands, $18 million, Lodge Kohler's at 16.
Yes.
So I think it'll probably be higher, but just we're basing our projections on this 12 million number, which then you can see where it brings in. Part of the proposal then is to have a TIF incentive where we would make available 80% of the increment until year 2040. I think we had talked about monetary number, but I think just given a little bit of the uncertainty of where this might assess out, wanted to provide some flexibility or opportunity because of the cost of this hotel to allow for some additional increment to help fill that gap. We basically feel that will equate to about $3.7 million over that time span, which if you go backwards, about 5% interest is about $2.3 million in today's value. With that, part of the what this would require is creating a new tax increment district over in that area. We do currently have its TID, and I'm going to look at adding an 8, I believe. TID 8 is over there right now, 7 or 8? I was getting my numbers mixed up.
I think it's 8.
Over in that district, which has paid off its obligations. I don't know if you remember last year we passed a resolution to actually close that TID. So I know, Chairman, you had talked about as we come back, probably in July, we're going to meet at JRB and kind of discuss, all right, what's next for our TIDs this year. We may look at keeping that open 1 year to put some funding in an affordable housing fund, but then basically shut that TID down and create a new TID With this property and some adjacent properties, really to facilitate some future development in that area. That initial TID kind of did its purpose really to get Tundra Lodge off of the ground. There's no other obligations out there. It's cash flowing, there's money in the bank. So what we're looking at in terms of potentially creating this new TID, we put this on the docket for the JRB to look at during your session this summer. So with that, we think it's a really exciting project. Very good to see some things. I guess you can kind of call it the second phase of movement in the Legends District. We had some initial development when we created that first TID, and I think we're ready for a second wave, and hopefully this will be the project that leads it. So with that, as I said, the developer is here. If you want to ask any questions, otherwise staff recommends approval of this development agreement.
What's the wish of the group? Do you want more details from the developer, or?
I'd love to open up the floor so the developer can tell us a little bit more about the project and what's going on. It wasn't clear to me that, the restaurant was getting cleared down, so I'd just love to know a little bit more about the hotel. And a little bit probably about the plans, because I don't believe it's intended to be badged with one of the big national chains, and so what they're thinking about, right? How do we draw the gas?
Motion by Matt to open the meeting.
Second.
Second by Jim. All in favor, saying by saying aye.
Aye.
Developer, please give us a little more information.
Yeah,
please. Yes, please.
Well, first of all, we will be affiliated with a national chain. We're looking at, we're in negotiations which will almost complete with Wyndham. It will be a soft brand. It will be the Trademark collection. Trademark has over 100 hotels in their portfolio, and Wyndham's one of the largest hotel companies in the world. So we think that adds a lot of stability to the project. I'm Dennis Doucette. I'm with Legendary Hotels. We're doing the Hotel Wet Law project in Fond du Lac. I invite you all to come see it. It's turning out terrifically.
Good.
And Richard Trotovic with Rodak, he's the contractor for the Hotel Wet Law, and he'll be the contractor for this project. Vicky Fabry is the owner, and Performa is the architectural group. Our concept is to be luxury, all suites hotel. We think that this will elevate the district, having an upscale product in that location. There'll be a brasserie, farm-to-table brasserie on the bottom floor. There'll be some executive boardrooms. There'll be a barista cafe on the bottom floor. Then floors 2 through 4 will be all suites, a combination of studio suites that are about 400 square feet. There'll be classic suites that are 570 square feet, and then some grand suites that are about 950 square feet. Again, this will be luxury, very upscale. At the top floor, we'll have a section of suites on one wing, and then we're going to have a rooftop lounge with a rooftop terrace, and there'll also be some function rooms on that top floor. And we intend to also do some significant landscaping to the site itself, so that there's more of a green space feel, and it feels a little more residential and less concrete and asphalt as it does right now.
Where would be the closest location that you built one that's very similar to this?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Where's the closest location that you built one similar to this?
If we built one similar.
This is similar to what you're talking about, this design.
Well, I'm not sure I understand the question.
It's a bit of a one-of-a-kind.
It's one of a kind? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, the design is, we think, is in line with what the city's vision was for that district. Right. Sort of a chic industrial profile, but an interesting building, not a square box, like a lot of them are right now. We think the city's got some terrific hotels, but the majority of them are limited service and select service, and we think having an upscale product in that region will elevate the entire area.
Excellent. Good. Matt, you have a question?
Yeah, no, just the other was, and thank you for answering about the part about the Wyndham, just as it was called the Legacy Hotel and everything I'd read, I didn't know if it was going to be.
Well, it's a soft brand,
okay.
And we feel that it's important to have Legacy as the brand that we want to market out there.
Okay.
But a lot of the big hotel companies now are doing the soft brands. So we get all the advantages of their reservation system. We have the stability of their corporate offices and infrastructure. But then we have the flexibility to operate in our own style.
And that was the gist of that, right, was around their reservation system and that ability to pull in eyeballs. The next was, I know Performa has put out a little something on their site, right, with a view of the hotel and, right, brick and stone and metal. And is that still the thoughts on what the architectural finishes would be? Okay.
Absolutely.
Because it's a very nice looking property in the picture that's there, so very modern.
Other questions? Kathy, Bart?
Again, I invite any and all of you to come see us at the Ret Law, and you'll get an example of the fine work that Rodak does in regards to construction. But that property is turning out very well, and feel free to reach out to the city of Fond du Lac. I think they've been very satisfied with Legendary Hotels and the way that we've conducted ourselves throughout that development phase.
Good.
And any kind of boutique hotel, I don't think we even have any in Green Bay, so adding this to that district, it's nice to see focus there.
Excellent. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, we'll go back to regular order of business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion back to regular order of business.
So moved.
Second.
Jim and Kathy, all those in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Other comments or questions for Kevin or staff?
I realize we did not have an updated rendering in the packet. Were you able to see it, or I can pull one up on the screen?
Here. I mean,
Yep.
I looked over Matt's shoulder, so
Okay.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I think in terms
See
of
how
from
efficient
a,
we're getting, Kevin?
yes.
one step ahead. From design features, I think that was one of the things that the Legends District pushed, and we're in the process of putting the code together to regulate that. I mean, I think
Good.
We respect the developer the team for really kind of looking at the Legends plan and using it to guide the design for this. This is what we want to lead with, and I think it'll fit in nicely what's there, but also what's going to come in that area.
Are you looking for action?
Yes.
Yeah, so the recommended action would be to approve the development agreement, subject to legal and technical clarifications, and then this would go to City Council on the 18th for final approval. Then we, like I said, start the process through the GRB this summer, but this would start the process with the school.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the development agreement with the, what did you say? The technical and the link, you can read it.
Right, it should be right on there.
It's on the end. You read the order.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry, did.
Yep, sorry.
Just a consideration with possible, okay. I would like to move that we approve the development agreement 19-02 with Legacy Green Bay LLC for the Legacy Hotel at 1004 Pass.
Subject to minor legal.
Subject to, I'm not seeing that.
Scroll down to the recommendation.
There. Got it. Subject to
Yes.
minor legal and technical clarifications.
Excellent.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Oberdorf and seconded by Kathy to approve the development agreement 19-02 as stated. Any other questions or comments? From hearing none, we shall vote. Very good. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Number 3, consideration of the possible action on the approval of 535 South George Street.
Sorry.
Oh. Come on down.
Thank you. So we purchased this property from the Parks Department. They bought it with a grant, so we had to reimburse them for the grant for $40,000. Went out for bid, and the low bidder was $115,000. We put some contingency money in the project, so we've got $130,000 into it. We have an offer to purchase for $134,900 from a qualified buyer, and we're looking for your approval to
Make a little profit?
not
Not
really.
really. Okay.
We're getting back what we spent, roughly.
Good.
Good.
But we saved the house. I mean, this was part of the trail
Yes.
that goes behind it.
Yes.
So we actually had to, I think, move the garage. So it would be out of the, when the
Yes, we
trail.
moved the
was
garage,
in
we had to
garage.
demolish the garage and move it forward.
Definitely.
So
Why-
there's an easement in the back?
There is.
Or is the actual trail there right now?
No,
No,
it's
but it
not.
will be.
It's the easement, okay, got it.
The property is cut off right behind the garage.
Okay, it's paving the way for.
Right.
Great.
Okay. Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Dorf and a second by Matt. Any other questions or comments? If not, we shall vote. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Passed unanimously.
Very nice project, Kevin. Great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consideration of possible action, industrial revenue bond fee schedule.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
With the new interest in revenue bonds, there was discussion with the extra work that that does create with us going through these meeting processes and a fee being associated with that. And since we did not have a fee schedule for this, we are bringing forward a fee schedule for industrial revenue bonds. It is in your packet.
So,
Was there no fee currently?
No fee schedule set up currently.
Currently, okay.
Kind of did it as they came and found we weren't consistent, and so we figured, right, if we're going to do more of these, we probably should set policy, get something to reimburse our time for doing it. Also, in the, the actual cost, sometimes you may want to see from, basically, if we did the one last time, Ellers or Schenck, basically, outside counsel to say, look, there's no impact on the city, right, an outside opinion, so just being able to build after that time. I think, look, there's a balance in terms of a percentage fee versus flat fee of reimbursing us for a time, setting it high enough to do that, but also not so high, like, hate to say it, but we're not the only game in town, like, you could also go to the county, for to go through this process, so we're trying to be competitive, but at least get a little revenue for reimbursing our costs.
this is a consistent fee with what other municipalities do?
Yeah, I mean, we found a range of them across the board.
Okay.
Some charge the percentage, which in this case, I mean, would give us a ridiculous amount of money, but really then would negate like the savings that they get for doing it.
Exactly.
But I think it's just, establishes something.
Yep.
And you can revisit it if we feel like I think where we have the flexibility is like, if this gets really crazy, I mean, we're able to reimburse for actual cost.
Right.
So in the present case, we'd be talking about $50, $60 million of rebid packaging.
Correct, yep.
And so we're looking at $4,000 total over initial resolution and final resolution.
And probably a little bit, I think for the initial one, did we?
We never did get billed at this point for the.
Okay, but it'd probably be,
consult.
right, if we had to get a letter, a few, maybe $100 extra, but probably under $5,000, yes, for this.
I think it's reasonable. Do I hear a motion? I'll make a motion to approve the proposed industrial revenue bond fee schedule.
Motion by Kathy,
Second?
second by Alder. Any other questions or comments? That was the vote.
Passed unanimously.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Number 5, consideration of possible action request from staff to use 2018 Community Development Block Grant Funds for Greenway Development Bus Schedule Art Program.
Hello.
Oh, hi, how are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Excellent, thank you.
Good. Back again, Eric. Back again to discuss the $50,000 that we had set aside in 2018 for the use of public art in our qualifying neighborhoods, Community Development Block Grant. So last I was here, we were discussing the rooted sculpture for New Works, and then the public, the poetry and the sidewalk poetry, and now Our public arts coordinator, Laura Schley, and myself have developed a bus shelter art program. These bus shelters you see here are from a similar program being done in Milwaukee, which is very successful. And Laura and myself with Transit have identified 11 bus shelters in qualifying neighborhoods that we've able to place public art. Here's mapped right there. So pretty well spread out through the whole Green Bay. We have one immediately downtown, and we have, I'd say, a pretty even amount on both the east and west side. And we are looking to, we're requesting approximately $6,000 to cover 11 of those shelters, public art. We're putting out a call for artists, which will be open for approximately a month, where the Public Art Commission, along with Transit, will be deciding what pieces of art we'll be putting on those shelters. And we're going to be giving some preference to artists who are having an emphasis on various cultures represented in our community and diversity. We feel that's very important, and we don't feel like we're lacking a lot of public art downtown that really exemplifies or shows the diversity that we do have, the various cultures we do have represented in our community.
Would more likely be several artists that would be involved?
Most likely, yes. Yes.
And how long would these, I'm assuming it's some sort of like
they're vinyl wraps, and so now depending on the quality, you're going to be paying more. But so if we're going for the base, it's going to be 5 years. It will last. Approximately, we can pay about extra $200 per installation for a higher quality, which would get us 2 more years, 7 years. But so 5 years for approximately $300 a piece, which is
I thought you'd say something really way less than that. So 5 years is.
Yeah, we were really impressed. We were expecting, to be honest with you, we were expecting to spend $5,000 like per piece. Yeah. So when we got called back from our vinyl guy, and with that price of $300, we kind of shook our head like, what? So we double checked and confirmed, and yes, indeed, it's the cost and 5-year lifespan approximately.
And on that vinyl material, they can do the whole spectrum of colors and there's
everything. Yes, and so if you notice, some communities will have that do bus shelter art will have for safety concerns like see-through. You can see that down.
Yes.
This will not be. This will be solid, just because it's just only on the back for panels.
What would be the process for selecting the artists? That's going to be a challenge.
So we have a call for artists, which you'll see in the packet. We have a call for artists ready, and again, it'll be a committee, members from the Public Art Commission and also Transit. They want to be involved in that process, which is fair.
Good, totally fair. I see though. Yep. Great. Any other questions?
I want to say from the security standpoint, I like that it's just the back that you can see in from both sides and from the front, so that it doesn't create a space that might be insecure.
Right.
So I like this.
Any other questions or comments?
Gary?
Yes, please.
Just one question for you, Will. Do you know if this product is graffiti proof?
I don't think there's any product that's graffiti proof.
I can refer you to a company that has graffiti proof vinyl. But maybe the broader point is if there is that option and it's a little upgrade, might be worth at least looking at.
Sure, we can definitely. I don't know for certain how resistant this product is to graffiti. Considering that they would either have to, it's going to be applied on, and I'm not even sure if it's going to be applied on the back or on the front. I'm assuming it's going to be applied on the back of the glass so that the image itself will be protected. So they'd either have to spray paints or color on the inside of the shelter over the glass, or they'd have to come from behind and scrape and try to damage and tear. It kind of depends on how that's going to be applied. But we can certainly look into just the graffiti resistance aspect of that material. It's a good point.
Alder Johnson, I was teaching helping teach a course on SEPTED, using the environment for crime prevention. And one of the things where they saw a lowering of graffiti were in areas where there was actual art and murals displayed. They saw a big drop off. People were more reluctant to destroy those kinds of things than they were to write on or to mark plain walls.
Yeah,
and so that is also a good thing to know.
Totally agree, and I know that to be the case. And I'm just thinking, though, in that unfortunate circumstance where it does get tagged, having to trash it versus, or replace it versus being able to clean it.
But
No, and I don't
the
think Green
glass
Bay's, I mean,
protects it.
got as big of a problem as some other larger cities.
No, I'm trying to think of, we haven't really had, with the public art that we have out right now, I can't, we maybe had one instance a long time ago with one of the sculptures on the Fox River Trail. There was some damage, but
It was, I think,
bent over or
Yeah.
something,
Okay.
but we fixed it. So
So if
fortunately,
the
it's not a
incidents
huge
are that
one,
low, it
but,
might not even be worth the...
right, we just have to take a look at the cost, right, to see if
Right.
it's
Okay.
justifiable.
Thank you.
But that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up.
One more quick follow-up on that. What's been the experience of Milwaukee? So you saw some just in Milwaukee. Have they been having much issues with that?
I don't think Laura spoke with Milwaukee. So I guess I can't speak
Okay.
to what issues they've had, if any. But I know it's a popular program. I mean, this is just one example. We wanted to find a local example, and this is being done all over.
Right. Great. Any other questions or comments?
Move to approve?
Alder,
Second.
And second by Kathy. Any other questions or comments? I think keeping Brian's comments in mind, though, if there's a little bit of up fee, that's a great idea.
Yeah, we'll certainly look into that.
Yeah, and then do I need to make my motion contingent that we also look at the graffiti-free vinyl and evaluate that?
That's a good idea.
Sure.
Why not?
We can report back on that.
Alder Dorothy.
I will, yes,
Okay.
that amendment.
All right. If there are no other questions or comments, we shall vote.
I've not gotten the vote things. There we go.
Passed unanimously.
Very good. Excellent.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Good luck. Number six, consideration of possible action on development agreement with Modern Built LLC for the property located at 929 North Broadway, tax parcel 18-502 under the New Homes in the Neighborhood Program.
All right, how do you
Yeah.
do?
You
You see a lot of me real quick here. So,
All right.
so this property was purchased in 2009, actually by the EDA as a city property. It's been sitting vacant since then. We've had it marketed as part of our New Homes in Your Neighborhood program. And this last month, we received an application from Modern Built LLC to do a single-family, about 1,200 square foot, single-story home on the site. We took this to EDA last night and got approval to dispose of the property. So for today, we're looking at awarding the $25,000 grant as part of the New Homes in Your Neighborhood program. Ryan Kosmowski is here representing, or as a representative of Modern Built LLC. If you wanted to speak with him about the project. They're looking at doing the Jackson design out of our plan book that I shared with you last month. So similar build to what the Lamens Quality Homes is doing on the lot right next to this that we approved last month as well.
Okay.
So staff is recommending approval of using the $25,000 of the new neighborhood enhancement funds for the New Homes in Your Neighborhood program.
Questions, comments?
So are we selling the property to Kosmowski?
The lot will be deeded free of charge.
Free of charge,
Yes.
okay. And
Yep.
then we're through the New Homes.
And then providing the $25,000 for the New Homes in Your Neighborhood program.
Okay.
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Dorf, second by Kathy. Any other questions or comments? It doesn't like your computer or something. I'm sure it's coming.
Everybody else get it?
Yeah, I voted.
You have to do.
Yes, I'm going to go into there. It comes. Yeah. Get it back.
So passed unanimously.
Excellent, thank you. Again, I got to tell you, this is Ken's again, number 7. Consideration of possible action, disposition of 422 5th Street, tax parcel 2-192, the neighborhood works Green Bay on the Adopt a Home program. Yes, Ken.
Yes, all right, so this is a property the RDA purchased this past fall, located within the Shipyard neighborhood. This is the one that had the interesting little house in the back of the property.
Yes.
That is scheduled for demolition this month, so that'll be coming out shortly. We've done some survey work to kind of square up the alley in the back and make sure everything kind of plays out the way it should. NeighborWorks Green Bay has submitted a proposal to rehab the property, the front property, from a 2-family back to a 1-family home, and then sell it for owner occupancy. They'll be utilizing the Adopt a Home program to basically offset any of the additional costs that'll go into the development of the property that they won't get back from the sale of the property. They're expecting a sale price of about $110,000. We have had properties in that area sell upwards of $159,900, one of 871 West Mason that we had go through the RDA last year. So we are hopeful that this is going to be a success here. I guess staff will make the recommendation to approve disposing of this property, 422 5th, to NeighborWorks Green Bay under the Adopt a Home program.
And as far as what the final product is going to look like, that's that picture?
No, that's actually how it is. That's, I think, from 2016.
Okay.
So it's...
So the exterior, other than probably having new siding, etc., the concept's going to be pretty much like that, just that it's going to be upgraded.
Correct. And then the house in the back will be torn down. There will be a new 2-stall garage. That will be actually accessed off of the alley, I believe. Yes. So the driveway off of 5th Street will be eliminated. There will be a curb cut eliminated there as well. So the side yard will be a little bit bigger than. And Scott Shaneman from NeighborWorks is here if you had any other questions about the development.
I don't think I'm comfortable with it. Matt?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve the disposition of 422 5th Street to NeighborWorks Green Bay and the Adopt a Home program.
Second by Jim. Motion by Matt, second by Jim. Any other questions or comments? We shall vote. Yeah, right.
I'll vote yeah.
It must be your computer, man.
So passed unanimously.
All right, very good, thank you. Take care. Number 8, yes. Consideration possible action planning option for neighborhood works for properties located on 1100 block of East Walnut, tax parcels 14-195 to 14-202.
All right. Well, we're taking another stab at this property. Back in 2016, we had a planning option with NeighborWorks on this site as well. At the time, they had been looking to get a federal home loan bank for $400,000. That never came through, so the project kind of fizzled out from there.
And I think it was more of apartments, like 2-story. It was a different, I think, design than what they're looking at now.
Correct. Yep. And well, the design that they do have provided in their request here is the previous design. we are going to be working with them as far as kind of what our vision is on this property, and we've been in discussion with them since then as well. But before they put any more expense into drawing up some new plans, they wanted to secure it under a planning option. NeighborWorks is requesting a 6-month planning option. Staff will be recommending doing a 3-month with the possibility of doing a staff approval for an additional 3-month planning option. And we will be working with them and doing monthly check-ins to see where the progress is with the design and financing and anything they need for help on the project.
Is this near East?
Right down the road.
Right down the road.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
All right.
There are townhouses out there somewhere.
They're really pretty ones.
Yeah, so on the
Really?
1300 block, 2 years ago, Habitat for Humanity did the Twindos on a similar size lot as this. And then NeighborWorks did the Navarino Townhome project. And so we're going to be hopefully working with them to do some kind of hybrid of that plan on this site, a little bit larger
They all
scale.
look attached.
Right.
Yes.
And they're probably going to be all detached.
That's,
How many total are there? 6?
They have proposed right now 2 6-unit buildings, but we're going to work with them on that and try to fill that site and make sure we can get as.
Is that pretty dense to have 2 6? I mean, there'll be 12.
12 units.
Would they be owner occupied or are they rentals?
That is another discussion that we're going to be working through as part of the planning option. I think.
We're exploring both.
Yeah, they're still exploring both options. So, and it might be a mix of both. There may be a unit of rentals and then some owner occupied as well.
So you're asking for, they're asking for a 6-month planning option, you're asking for a 6-month planning option, but you want to assess it at 3 for the staff.
No, well, they're asking for 3 months with a possible extension.
Correct.
By the staff.
By the
Correct.
staff.
So 6 month though from us.
Essentially, yeah.
So what's the concern for reducing the 6 months to 3 months?
We just want to see something hopefully by the end of summer, see where they're at, and just to, I guess, keep everything on track.
Yeah.
That's good. Accountability.
Because like sometimes in the past, some of the 6-month options, we've done it with the new homes in your neighborhood now where we reduce that to a 60-day option. If you extend it out too far, sometimes things can, kind of get pushed towards the end of that option period. So we just kind of want to streamline that and hopefully go forward with something by fall.
Well, it looks like their plans are pretty well formulated, so I'm not concerned about the 3 months at least.
Did you say those are the old plans?
The plans that are in here are the previous plans, yes.
So they might not look like this.
Correct, yeah, there are some design aspects that we're going to work with them on, and just making sure that the way it lays out on site, it fills the whole site.
And has curb appeal.
Correct.
Like, the stuff that's been going in there has really nice curb appeal.
Well, yeah, exactly. Some of the last projects they've done have had that, tool. It's really looking differently. That's really important. I mean, that's a big project to attract them. So I'm sure they'll do it again.
And there's.
Correct. Yeah. So then after the planning option, the final development agreement will come back to the RDA.
With final plans, so you see all that.
Yeah. So we'll bring those back.
I'll make a motion to approve a 3-month planning option with NeighborWorks Green Bay for the properties located on 1100 block East Walnut Street, tax parcel 14-195 through 14-202.
With a possible 3-month extension by staff. Do you need that?
3 and 3.
Say that?
That's fine.
Okay, motion by Jim.
Second.
Second by Kathy. Any other questions or comments? Again, I can't emphasize enough the curb appeal, they all look different, which you've done, your last several projects, it's just beautiful. So moved.
Passed unanimously.
Excellent. Okay. Number nine, consideration of possible action on the acquisition of 520 Hubbard Street, tax parcel 4-96, using the neighborhood enhancement funds.
All right, that is me as well.
Oh, you're
Well,
young man.
So, aside from St. Patrick's Church, the Redevelopment Authority has gone after the other two corners here, so we figured we might as well try to get this one as well. On Broadway, Inc. has recently, this property has been donated to them by one of their board members, and we've been in negotiations with them as far as acquiring the property. Upon acquisition, we will put it into our New Homes in Your Neighborhood program and look to get a single-family home built on the site. We had our design specialist, Aaron Rosnick, do a massing here in the picture down in the right corner there to show a house will fit on this site. So we feel it's a good property for us to pick up and hopefully get some more redevelopment on that block, on the 100 block of North Maple.
And it's just a vacant lot.
Correct.
I move to approve the acquisition of 520 Hubbard Street using the Neighborhood Enhancement Fund.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ordorf, and second by Jim. Any questions or comments? If not, we shall vote. Very good.
Passed unanimously.
Okay, you're a busy young man. Number 10.
He didn't want to respond.
You don't want to respond. Consideration of possible action on the acquisition of 421 4th Street, tax parcel 2-181, using the neighborhood enhancement funds.
All right, so shifting back to the shipyard.
Yes.
You know, we dispose of one, we need to pick one up. That's kind of what we're doing here. So 421 4th Street is another property that came available. Staff has been in negotiations with the owner. We have an accepted offer for $65,000. Currently, it's a two-family home. One of the units is occupied, and it's the foundation definitely needs some work. The picture here, it's not the worst, but there's definitely some improvement that can be done on the site. You know, after we acquire it, we take a look. We'll dive in a little bit deeper to see if it's something we can convert back to a single family, or we could demolish it and leave a buildable lot. The site would definitely be suitable for one of our designs from our plan book.
So does that, the empty space, is that all part of that lot, or is it kind of cut down the middle?
That's divided down the middle.
Divided,
yeah.
One that side, one that
Yep.
side.
And then, so this property does also have the alley access off the back, which is what we had surveyed for the other property. So any redevelopment on here, we would have another curb cut that could be eliminated on 4th Street and utilize that alley access.
But otherwise, that's a really narrow lot, right? Because that's one lot, that's not, or is it two lots or one lot?
Well, there's a house.
Right, with a walkway.
Yeah, and that's, see, that's what I asked. So in the middle, split that down the middle, and then one half belongs to one house, one half belongs to the other house. So it's not a lot, it's part of.
Correct, yeah, so that green space gets cut in half, and then there's also a driveway down the side that's included. Total frontage is 50 feet on this lot, which is buildable with our plans.
Okay, so
And that driveway likely would go away.
That driveway would go away, exactly.
And then the one you just approved for the Neighbor Works adopted homes on the backside of that.
Oh,
correct.
So it opens up some space behind there too.
And then
because
we
of
own the
that other
vacant
house.
lot, the dog leg to the left of the red parcel, that little square is owned by the Redevelopment Authority as well, which, and then Neighbor Works, I believe, owns the corner property, so we're really, making some great improvements on that.
Great.
Probably a good plan to me, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the acquisition of 421 4th Street, tax parcel 2-181 for $65,000 using neighborhood enhancement funds.
Second.
Motion by Jim, second by Matt. Any other questions or comments? If not, we shall vote.
Passed unanimously.
Very good, thanks, John. Number 11, Consideration of possible action on the acquisition of 821 South Chestnut Avenue, tax parcel 2-178, using the community development block grant funds.
All right, a little more shipyard action. Yeah, we're
So
making.
across the street from the last one.
Yes. Right across the street. Actually, in the map there, you can see the
Yes.
421 Fourth there. This is the last parcel of the large area that the RDA already owns. Currently, the garage on that site is leased out by the Green Bay Bicycle Collective on a one-year lease. This property, again, became available within the last few months here. We've been negotiating with the owner on the property. We are looking to pick this up for $79,500 with Community Development Block Grant. And that will allow us then to put the rest of these properties out for RFP and hopefully spur some larger development here down in the shipyard. We are looking at doing a rezoning of this area, and this part will be zoned, or our recommendation will be for commercial. So we're looking at doing some mixed use, maybe commercial first floor, retail first floor, maybe some apartments above. Yeah. So with that, staff would recommend the purchase of this property for $79,500.
Do you have an estimate for the relocation funds?
I don't have that number. No, it's a single parent with a child that currently resides there. We weren't able to get the lease agreement prior. So.
Move costs would be anywhere probably $3,000 to $4,000. They probably take a fixed payment.
Yeah. We don't have any obligation for formula payout for relocation on this.
We do.
We do.
We do. This would be a relocation under federal rules. So it would be, it's kind of complicated, but it's the difference in rent if they have to pay more over a period of 4 years, or we offer them a voucher, which we have the ability to do. So they're only going to pay 30% if they're low income. Until we get in there and interview the tenants, we won't know that situation. But regardless, we'll have to pay that. That's not a negotiable fee relocation. So.
And it's a formula, so it's not.
It's a formula.
It's not really an unknown cost.
Right. Right.
Okay. Thank you.
And they're maximums.
Oh, I'd like to move that we approve the acquisition of 821 South Chestnut Avenue, tax parcel 2-178, using community development block grant funding.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Dorff and second by Matt. Any other questions or comments? Not, that was a vote. Are you coming up quicker now, man?
Yep.
Passed unanimously.
See, I'm on it now, Gary.
Nice, I see that. Okay, your computer's catching up to the city computers. Number 12. Consideration of possible action on the acquisition of 227 South Buchanan Street, tax parcel 3-1063-2, using neighborhood enhancement funds.
One more for you guys. All right. So this property we brought before you in March to accept a short sale on a rehab loan that we had on the property. Since then, that sale had fallen through, and the county was no longer going to work with that owner and has foreclosed on the property and taken ownership of it. I had a meeting with the county treasurer and expressed our interest in the property, explaining our loans that we had outstanding on it, and he's willing to work with us on it and sell the property to us for the amount of the back taxes, which is the $9,988.38. There are a few other expenses, some special assessments that are due to the city, as well as the 2019 property tax bill, and then some unpaid water bills that should be no more than $1,000. once we do acquire this property, we will demolish the property and it'll leave a buildable site. Habitat for Humanity has a planning option on the site next door to this, and have said that they would take a look at building on this one as well. So as you know, once we get it, we will put it as part of the New Homes in Your Neighborhood program, and wait for redevelopment. I guess so with that, staff would approve the acquisition, or recommend approval of the 227 South Buchanan for $9,098.38.
Sounds like a good price.
I think this is great. I'd make the motion, right, to approve the acquisition of 227 South Buchanan Street using neighborhood enhancement.
Second.
Motion by Matt and second by Jim. Any other questions or comments? If not, we shall vote. I reviewed the financial report and check register, but are there any questions in that regard? Otherwise, should this be acceptable? Director's report, project updates. Yeah.
Thank you. As usual, we're busy, we're cranking. It's Ken's month, so
Yeah,
take July off.
Ken's going to sleep good today.
He will. He will. He's really working hard. So a few bigger picture things, maybe not necessarily here, but I think it's important to talk about because eventually we're going to talk about how they're implemented. So one is our comprehensive plan. We're in the process of working on an update with that. We've got an intern working for us for the summer. Is no here? No, it's working. And basically preparing a strategy on how we're going to update and how we're going to create our comprehensive plan. Noah will be, our intern will be working with David Buck in terms of leading this. I know it's a planning document, but really what it's going to do is setting the next stage for what we're doing in all these areas and what are our focus areas and what kind of developments are we looking for in these particular areas. I'm pretty excited. I think we're going to probably do it a lot differently than we've done comp plans before in the past. But really I think it'll be a unique document that's going to help us really kind of project the strategy and a clear direction where we want to go with development. Paralleling that, the next cycle through our Plan Commission and Council will be adopting a pedestrian and bicycle strategy that's done in concert with the school district and the Safe Routes to School plan. Again, we control kind of the private side behind the line, but it's also important how are all these things connected and providing accessibility and then mobility for all of our residents. Just making a city work, I think that's really important, and so we'll be working to implement that. Some other things you probably saw, the mayor and the county executive together. I know we talked about some things here and letters of commitment, what we wanted to do. I think we in the county are both now on the same page in terms of moving forward in a direction. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to say about.
No, I don't think, just
okay.
Pretty, shared vision that we both have for both the Sea Rice site as well as the Pulling Power Plant site. So I think it's a great opportunity, obviously.
Mr. Mayor, you having a lot of fun?
Yeah, it's been great.
We'll also be rolling out, we'll probably be talking soon about finalizing some concept designs for the shipyard. And we're getting really close to Stantec and hopefully have some public outreach soon. And then coming back to this board to display what we'd like to do with that site. We've also been working on internally a curb appeal program. In terms of our commitment and investment in the neighborhood, some properties that we've targeted to identify providing some matching grant funds to help with landscaping, paving, painting, siding, basically exterior things, really to make incentives to spruce up the neighborhood. I know we're going to have some deeper dives, acquisitions, remodelings, all that kind of stuff, but just for maybe some of those properties that need more of just a light touch, here's a way to kind of get in and make maximum impact in that neighborhood. And then
will it be a grant program?
Yes, a matching grant program. Where basically the city will provide 25% of the funds that we've settled on yesterday.
They would have to provide 25%.
They provide 75. We provide 75. Yes. So we're going to put some serious money in, but in the same aspect, property owners are going to have to put some skin in the game, so that I think there's some
Yes.
accountability in terms of what's going to be happening there. And then if you haven't contacted already, I think we're going to be putting together another meeting of the real estate committee. One, I would kind of revisit and get back to talking about two things. One, the Adams Street lot, just kind of where things ended up in our pursuit of the Bay Lake building, and just kind of discuss where things were at and direction for the future. And then Shower and Schumacher, what our next steps with that piece of property are.
The projects around Whitney Park seem to be really moving.
Yes, I was just over there earlier this week, and they're all, townhomes are almost complete. Inside Whitney School, I don't know if you've been by, but they're replacing the windows. Looks amazing, right? In the 70s weatherization, they made like these 9-foot windows, like 3-foot windows.
Right.
And they're back to 9-foot windows again, and it looks great. And then 901 Main's first floor up, and I think we'll be working on the second floor next week. So, yeah, and this period of the year, that neighborhood's going to look very different.
Yes. The park is what makes it all very attractive.
Yes, yep, yeah, very much so. He'll get premium rent for that corner unit in 901 Main. I mean, you go in there and you just overlook the park. It's a great piece.
Good. Any questions for Kevin or the mayor? Saw you guys are busy. I don't think Ken's been getting 6 hours of sleep. Although he's been doing 5, was that it?
Oh, we have summer hours now, so you can rest.
Sleep all Friday afternoon.
Excellent. You have great work, guys. Next meeting is July 9th. Jim, I think you're not going to make it. But I'm sure we'll have a quorum, huh? July 9th? Sure.
Yeah.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Kathy's first this time. Jim is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Excellent meeting. Yes.